Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into another chilling Reddit horror story. So turn the lights off, get comfortable, and let's get into it. This one is titled, Don't Whistle at Night. My parents used to send my brother and I to spend our summer vacations in my dad's ranch in Mexico. We worked in the mountainside near the ranch house, and we would have our dinner in the main house, which was a mile walk up toward a rock-paved road up a hill. We often worked further up a mountain with a stream. After a long day of herding and fishing, we were making our way back towards the ranch. It was already dark, and my cousins and I were having a casual conversation. I don't know why I started absent-mindedly whistling. This caused a sudden reaction from my cousins and brother, who all stopped in silence to stare at me. I asked what? It is when they all said to never whistle at night. I asked why not. My older cousin explained, when you whistle at night, the devil whistles back. I rolled my eyes at this. I never believed in ghosts or anything like such as a kid who enjoyed watching horror movies. So being an annoying little brat, I started whistling again. I saw that it genuinely spooked them. One of my cousins even ran up the hill ahead of us. I laughed at them and kept whistling until they all left me behind. Finally, all alone, I made my way up the hill. All I could hear was the wind and the sound of croaking toads, until eventually I hear a whistle, thinking it was one of cousins messing with me. I did it. I whistled back, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up because I suddenly heard the whistle again, this time right behind me, so close it was like whoever was whistling was only inches right behind me. I don't know what it was that told me not to turn around, but I didn't. I decided to pick up my speed. I could already see the lights of the house and hear the voices of family. When I heard it again, the whistle and the sound of hooves on the rock road, I decided to run and yell for my brother. He came running outside, and I ran into the house blubbering about what I had heard. I never turned around, and my brother said he saw nothing, but he did admit to me years later that he heard the sound of hooves, which alerted him to go check outside, thinking one of the horses had gone loose. Did my grandmother come back to visit? When I was 11 years old, during my time living in Mexico, I had my first paranormal experience. I resided in a 2-story house in Mexico, and my room was situated on the second floor at the end of a dimly lit hallway. After my grandmother passed away, the noises began to occur. Initially, I wouldn't hear much until it was late at night. My parents had already gone to bed, and I would be in my room, watching TV. It was around 12 a.m., and my mission was to find some adult programming. It was during this time that I had my first experience. While I was lying in bed with the TV muted and the entire house silent, I suddenly heard the sound of the dining room table chairs shifting downstairs in the kitchen. They moved as if someone was pulling out the chairs to sit. I knew my mom and dad were sleeping at that time, but there was always a chance that one of them might get up to grab some water. So I decided to check to make sure. I got up from my bed and approached my door. As I stepped outside into the hallway, everything was pitch black. I should mention that my hallway doesn't have walls in the center of the room. It's more like an open space with railings in the middle. The railing makes a loop from my room, leading to the staircase. There's also railing leading up to the second floor. The entire area is open, and I could immediately tell if there was light coming from downstairs. Well, there was definitely no light. The only way to turn on the light in this hallway was to walk down the hallway and reach my parents' room, where next to the door would there be a light switch. From this location, I would also be able to see the kitchen dining room table from where I would be standing. After turning on some lights, I rushed downstairs. As you would expect, nobody was there. As I went back to the second floor, I opened my parents' room just to check if they were awake. If they were, I'd ask if they were just downstairs, but when I see them sleeping, snoring in bed, I get my answer. They were deep in sleep. Something moved those chairs, and it was not my parents. Every time I would hear something, I would muster the courage to walk down the stairs and inspect the kitchen and dining room. The only thing I absolutely wouldn't do is enter and check my grandmother's old room. Deep down, I suspected it was her ghost, even though it's the last thing I want to think about while I'm down there. Once I looked around and found nothing, I went back to my room and soon fell asleep in fear. This wasn't the only time I heard the chairs moving at night. I went downstairs every time, never finding anything. The sounds didn't happen every night, as far as I know, but I believe I heard them at least 3 or 4 times. Other family members and even guests in our house have said they've either seen an apparition of my grandma or have felt being touched. Thank goodness I never saw anything myself. I would be traumatized as far as I'm concerned. True Philippine ghost story. This story was my mom's. She passed away in 2021, but this is the creepiest story she told us. It was around late 1990s when my mom became friends with a neighbor that owns a small grocery store in our town. Not sure how my mom became close with her, but based on what I knew, the husband of the owner, who was a police officer, cheated on her and they're having a rough time. My mom comforted this lady a lot to the point that they were best friends. Unfortunately, my family had to move to a different city, and since this was the late 1990s, there were no social media yet. My mom and her best friend lost touch with each other. A couple of months went by, and it was shown on the local news that the grocery owner took her husband's life by **ting him while he is sleeping, and then **t herself too. One night, my father wasn't home, and my siblings and I were sleeping with Mom. My mom had a dream, and in her dream, she was walking home with the grocery owner in a long, dark road. In her dream, my mom asked her, "Why are you walking this way? You live the other way." Her friend replied, "I'm the **D. I'm just looking for you." My mom ran away as fast as she could, and when she reached our house in the dream, she woke up. Now, this is an important detail. The floor on the second floor of the house is made of bamboo strips, and between the gaps of the bamboo strip, you can see the floor below. A house like this was common back in the 90s to lessen heat inside the house, as we live in a tropical country. Relieved that it was only a dream, she stood up and was thinking of going to the bathroom downstairs when she saw someone below, between the gaps of the bamboo floor. It was looking up to her, like it wants to know that ghost was downstairs, like it followed her. My mom was so afraid that instead of going to the ground floor, she pissed in a cup of coffee instead. Funny AF, but true. A couple of years after that, a family who apparently doesn't believe in ghosts moved to the house of the grocery store owner and the police. The neighbors told them that a crime was committed in that house, but they didn't care. They were Mormons, I believe. One afternoon, the kid of the people who moved in that house was watching anime in the living room when the kid heard someone clearing his throat in the bedroom. When the kid looked at the bedroom, he saw a guy sitting on the bed asking him, "What are you doing in our house?" The family moved out in just a week. Years after, a tricycle driver, a tricycle is like a tuk-tuk in Thailand, like a mini taxi, happened to pass by the house of the grocery store owner around 3 a.m. According to the driver, he saw a woman waving her hand, calling his attention like it needs a ride. He decided to go back because he thought that the lady is a passenger. The lady vanished like a smoke when he was finally near her, and this scared the **T out at the tricycle driver. He only learned of the story of the house in the morning when he told the neighbors what he saw. Until now, no one lived in that house. Spoke with a deceased woman on a police call. I've posted this here before long with about a burglary in progress call I responded to, but I've been getting requests from newer members on my recent posts and figured it's worth repeating for everyone. There was one call I went to, a death notification. That really freaked me out. I had to contact some family members of deceased woman that was involved in a fatal car accident a few miles away from her home. When I arrived, I met a woman near the roadway, just inside the property gate. She said she heard me coming from miles away. I asked her if she lived at the residence, which she confirmed she did. After asking her to speak with me at the house, she agreed, but said she needed to walk as the house was about 75 yards from the road. After making it to the house, I approached the front door on a small wooden porch and began scanning the driveway for the woman. It was about 1 a.m. and completely dark. While looking for the woman, the front door opened and a younger woman appeared. She was concerned about my presence and asked if everything was okay. I asked if I could speak with her and any other adults inside, and she welcomed me in. I told her I would wait for the woman I met near the gate, and she told me nobody else should be home. I then freaked out and began searching the property. Nothing. After entering the residence, I told her and her husband the news about Susan, which ended up being her mother. She said her mother moved in a few months back after her father had passed and wasn't handling it well. While she and her husband were comforting one another, I began looking at photos on the wall. There was this picture of a mid-aged woman that stuck out to me. She was a younger version of the woman I spoke with near the gate. While looking at the picture, the daughter confirmed that was her mother, the woman that passed in the wreck. I spoke with the ghost of the individual that died in the crash just before telling her family what happened. This experience and a few others prompted me to start sharing stories like these in the job on my channel. Policing the shadows. Possible ghost messing with my baby? For some background context, I live in a rental built in 1900. Big old house with not a lot of background info. I know it was vacant for years before we got into it and had to be completely redone to make it livable. There's articles in the attic about deaths that happened in the 50s, but they don't occur at the home. I'm told the giant double-sized pocket door between the living room and dining room, and the door right next to it, leading from the living room to the foyer, was because people used to have funerals in the home back in the day. Anyways, right off of the creepy walk-up attic is my almost 2-year-old's room. We've lived here for 1 year. I was terrified of the attic for several months and refused to go up there because me, my friend who stayed with us most of the year, and my kids have all heard running sounds in the attic early morning and midday, clearly too big of steps and too loud for mice, although we heard scurrying too. And up until I moved the changing table in front of the door, the attic door opened multiple times on its own during the middle of the night, just like the door to the room itself. It sticks and isn't easy to open, so naturally we thought it was raccoons, until we send someone up there in October and get the news back that there were absolutely zero signs of raccoons. No little nests, no moms or babies, no droppings, nothing. We have a camera in her room overlooking her crib, but it's live and doesn't record. Every night since we've lived here, despite the fact that she sleeps through the night, between 12 to 3 she screams loudly, and in the 2 seconds it takes to open the camera app, she's out like a light and doesn't appear to have even moved. Could it be possible there's some kind of entity messing with her in the middle of the night, pissing her off? Or could it be a mimic? It's freaking me out,